day 5 of the iUIC Blitz, and Gedaliah keeps posting content, which I really considered jumping into today, but I'm not. I'm going to hold off. But it's great that he is, because as I do get to break it down and dissect it, his followers and the people that are part of his group get to see him lie. They get to see him twist history. They get to see him misrepresent the Bible and bring out a false gospel. And them seeing it allows them to see the truth. And so I'm excited to continue talking about it. But in this instance, I want to go to something a little bit older, from a number of months back, because it's so profound how much he just outright lies to people. He does not care about the truth. And so this video is going to show that. Let's take a look.
But here's my question. Neither Jew nor Greek. That's only two different nationalities.
If you're an iUIC, please stop and listen. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but this is incredibly important, because you're about to see that one of your leaders is either knowingly lying to you, or he is pretending to know what a source says without ever having read it. So the question comes up. Galatians 3:28, Jew and Greek. He presents it as simply two races. But if he's read the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, when it says the word Greek, he knows that that's not just about two races. In fact, his own comments give away that he knows it's not about two races. Why? Well, he says, as we go forward, that according to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, Greek in the Bible means Hellenized Jews. Well, that's not what it means according to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, but by that admission or that argument, he admits that it's not just referring to two races. But let's go into the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary and let's see what it actually says about the meaning of Greek. To find this definition, we actually have to look under the term Greece, because the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary sometimes puts multiple words under a single entry. Here it says Grecia is Greece, the home of the Hellenists. Greeks and Grecians, however, are to be distinguished. Greeks are generally those of the Hellenic race, but the word may be used to indicate non-Jews, foreigners, and aliens. Notice there it cites Romans 1:16, where Paul talks about the Jews and the Greeks, referring to non-Jews, foreigners, and aliens. So given that it refers to non-Jews, foreigners, and aliens, it's not just a matter of two races. It's in fact a matter of Jews and non-Jews. Now, you may object and say, well, Jews, that's just the Southern Kingdom. Well, let's find out what the term Jews actually meant come the first century. Here's the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary on Jew. You can pause to read the whole entry, but the highlighted part that I highlighted says, as most of the exiles came from Judah, and as they were the main historical representatives of ancient Israel, the term Jew came finally to comprehend all of the Hebrew race throughout the world. Similarly, Thayer's lexicon says before the exile, citizens of the kingdom of Judah. After the exile, all the Israelites. So Gedaliah here, and presumably the rest of the leadership at iUIC, they know this because they have this resource available to them. But they hide it from you and lie about it because that's the only way they can keep you in, get your money. That allows them to go on trips around the world for their ministry. That's what it comes down to. Now, where was the actual lie, though? Well, let's take a listen and see what was said.
Actually, when you look up in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it tells you that the Greeks spoken of in the New Testament were Hellenized Jews.
He says that when we see Greeks in the New Testament, according to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, that means Hellenized Jews. Let's go back to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, and let's look at it again. It says, Greeks are generally those of the Hellenic race. So you have a race of people. But the word may be used to indicate non-Jews, foreigners, and aliens. Let's continue. Grecians were Greek-speaking Jews, folk of the dispersion from areas predominantly Greek. And notice it cites Acts 6:1. Acts 6:1, the word translated by the King James Version as Grecian, is the word Hellenistes in Greek. This word means Hellenized Jews. So here is the reference. Notice Acts 6:1 is specifically called out. To copy the manner and worship of the Greeks, or to use the Greek language, a Hellenist, one who imitates the manners and customs or the worship of the Greeks and uses the Greek tongue employed in the New Testament of Jews born in foreign lands and speaking Greek. So going back to the reference, notice the second sentence in the reference here from the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Greeks, that is those who are of the Hellenic race and those who are Jews, foreigners, and aliens, and Grecians, that is the Hellenized Jews, are to be distinguished. Gedaliah has directly lied about the content of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Either he knows he's lying and he's doing it intentionally and he doesn't care that he's misleading you, or he's never read the reference and he's assuming something says something because that's what he's been taught and he doesn't actually verify what he's saying. Either way, how can you trust leadership who has no problem throwing away the facts? Now, having said that, he does try to exegete somewhat the text in Galatians chapter 3, and he supposes that this refers to Israelites only because it refers to them having the law. Well, this is not the case, and here again, he doesn't understand the history and the historical context and the overall greater context of Galatians to really understand what's going on. So let's look a little bit first at Galatians. In Galatians 1, Paul writes, I am amazed that you are so quickly deserting him who called you by the grace of Christ for a different gospel, which is really not another, only there are some who are disturbing you and want to distort the gospel of Christ. So there are people who have come and they're trying to teach something different. Well, what is that thing? Here in Galatians 6:12, those who desire to make a good showing in the flesh try to compel you to be circumcised, simply so that they will not be persecuted for the cross of Christ. For those who are circumcised do not even keep the law themselves, but they desire to have you circumcised, so that they may boast in your flesh. Judaizers had come to Galatia, convincing them that they had to keep the law, including circumcision. This was a known thing for Gentiles who wanted to convert to Judaism. This was how they got proselytes. The Exegetical Dictionary of the New Testament notes proselytos occurs 4 times in the New Testament and is used consistently there in accordance with the usage of Hellenistic Judaism as a technical term for a Gentile who has converted to Judaism, as a technical designation for men and women who, without descending from Jewish parentage, remember, Jews being used for Israelites, without descending from Jewish parentage, have become members of the Jewish cultic community or have joined it on the basis of a legally binding acceptance process. This term is documented only in Jewish and Christian literature and probably originated in the Hellenistic diaspora. Similarly, a Greek-English lexicon of the New Testament based upon semantic domains, proselytos, a Gentile who had converted to Judaism. And this is what God is talking about in Isaiah 56:3-6. Let not the foreigner who has joined himself to the Lord say, the Lord will surely separate me from his people. Also, the foreigners who join themselves to the Lord to minister to him and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants everyone who keeps from profaning the Sabbath and holds fast my covenant. What did those ones have to do? According to Exodus 12:48, they had to be circumcised. That was the first step in adopting the whole law and living according to it. So when Paul says that the law was a tutor to lead us to Christ, that's because it was. The Galatians were putting themselves under the law, essentially becoming proselytes, and yet it wasn't necessary. It was the tutor. It wasn't where they actually were, which was under grace. So Gedaliah does not understand this text. He is misrepresenting the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, and intentionally or not, he is lying to you. So there you have it. Either Gedaliah does not care about truth, or he just doesn't know any better. Either way, he is not somebody you want to be following.